All right, guys, back onto Business Planner, right? So if you remember if you haven't seen the first video that I introduced you guys to the Business Planner and how to basically build a business plan and a financial plan, you're going to want to watch that one first. It's about revenue, and this is the second step that we're going to turn, and we're going to dive in, and we're going to start looking at expenses, and so that we can figure out what's going on, and this is how you plan your business. So there's going to be more videos that are off of this topic, again, because it's kind of sequential, so you definitely make sure that you want to subscribe. And I love your comments. They help me understand how I'm doing and whether or not you're getting the material that I'm trying to. And as I always say, if it's helpful to you, that's going to be helpful to somebody else, so make sure to like the video. Let's do this thing. All right, so what we'll see here and what we did in step number one with the revenue is that, of course, we just put in our business name and our financial start date. And then we went through the revenue in detail, product revenue, and then service revenue as well. Now we're on step two of kind of expenses that we're looking at here. This is the net revenue. And again, don't touch anything that's not in yellow. As long as you do that, you won't mess anything up. And if you have to start over, just download the sheet again from the website. Again, it's at businessanew.com. It'll be on the main website that you can see it, you can download it, and that will get you started. I cover all that in the first video. So this is our net revenue. Now this is going to be the net expenses from everything that we're going to do down here. This is just kind of rolling it up and showing everything at the top. This is going to show our net profit for the month. Like you can see here, our net profit, that was a loss. We finally started breaking even in July of 2020. Again, don't mess with this. And then we're going to have a rolling net profit. All right, so I'm just going to talk about these summary amounts first. What is net revenue? That's all the money that we brought in the month after we pay. Again, watch video number one. This is all the money that we brought in, was $645. Then we have our expenses, our net expenses. This is all of our expenses that we're going to go through down here below that occurred in the month. That, when you take the expenses away, that's going to be our profit. In this month, it's not a profit, it's a loss. And we lost $3,700. And so then what our rolling net profit is it's just adding it up over time. And so if we go in May, we lost $383. So what does that mean? Well, when you add that to what we lost last month, now we're down $4,103. And then we go down $91.67. And then everything starts to turn. It starts to get better. Okay? This number is a really important number. And over in the summaries, we call this the largest cash drawdown. So, and this is going to calculate automatically. What does that mean? That means if I'm going to start this business and this thing is going to operate this way, with these expenses and these revenues, I have to expect and not be surprised when I lose $9,000. All right, so then the question becomes, well, how are you going to get $9,000? Do you have $9,000? Do you want to go, maybe you should go borrow it from your family members? Nope, you need to go look at the other video. You don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. So you have to think about, all right, what are you going to do? But this becomes the financial planning pieces of it, okay? Revenue. Now let's start taking a look at expenses. All right, so first of all, in our expenses, I have some different categories. The first is the cost of the products that were sold. So what is this? If you have products here that we were selling for $20 or $35 or $75, this is how much each unit cost us. Now, let's say this is actually an interesting topic that brings up. Whenever you're first starting a business, we'll do another video on this one, but you have to test, right? So in other words, if you're selling product number one, you don't start out by buying 10,000 units. Your goal is to limit the amount of risk. Your goal is to minimize what that number is. So let's just say, for instance, that in this month, the very first month, you sold 3 units of product number one, all right? And so here we have that all that cost us was $5. But what if you just said, well, I think I'm going to stock up, and it's going to be $7,500, okay? Look at what that number just did, because you just stocked up. You better hope you can sell that, because if not, you're going to have a whole lot of stuff that this is Mark in my prior life, these are my books that didn't sell, right? That I printed, that I had. This is the books. And what it ends up doing is costing you a lot of money. You want to limit risk, especially when you're starting. You want to, and you might go, well, I'm not, when we get out here, I'm not even making that much money. Who cares? In the very beginning of your business, you're just trying to not go broke, right? You're just trying to limit the amount of money that you're bleeding out the door. And so stay small. Don't build up lots of inventory. You go, well, it's twice as much. Okay, well, who cares? If you are stocking up, you better hope you're right. And you better know this industry really well. You better know whether or not you're going to be able to pull it off. Bottom line, we're putting in what the expenses are, what we paid for products 1, 2, and 3. Same thing for the cost of our services. If there's a cost to a client or there's other types of cost to services, you can see I just have lots of random numbers in here. So, but this is going to be, if it's customer number 1, we're saying, all right, we brought in X number of dollars and this is how much money it cost us if we had to do, we had an actual hard dollar cost. The reason this becomes important over time is we can figure out whether or not, like, is product 1, are we making any money on it? Are we making any money on client number 1 or 2 or 3? We can kind of dig in a little bit more, okay? Expenses, these are the cost of the products and services that you're selling. Then if we scroll down, right, it's a big spreadsheet, right? And so you can resize it and all the rest. But we're going to go down here to salaries. All right, so salaries, what I like to do, let's say, for instance, you hire one person and they're $25,000 a year. All right, this is just kind of gives you an earmark of what you expect, and then this is what you're going to put in each month, $2,400 or whatever it ended up being. All right. Now, what's the goal for initially salaries? The goal is for not having salaries at all. All right, so you want to, now, why am I saying that? Well, a lot of people go, well, I got to go hire someone. Okay, all right, so you can't do it on your own. Nope, can't hire it. Okay, well, how much is it going to cost? They're $36,000. All right, $36,000 a year. That's $3,000 a month. All right, so I'm just going to show you what that ends up meaning. Okay? Look what just happened. Right? Instead of $9,000, now I need $18,000. So, and when we start getting out here, right, this green line is actually when we start turning profitable. So you start finding, these different things is taking a lot more money, for, a lot more time before you're not bleeding money. Look at this. Like, you add that person. This is when this number turns positive is when you've actually broke even. Look at that. You added that person. It's not until October of 21 that you're even getting back to work to start. You're underwater all that time. And so be careful, right? If you have the ability to, you don't want to, and what you don't want to do is hire the person and then be surprised that you're losing money. Come on. You have to be professional about what it is that you're doing. Same thing goes for rent. Like, if you can avoid it, you don't want rent. I have very established businesses, and we even contemplated, not having an office because of COVID and some other reasons and stuff like that. Just be smart. Think about it. These are salaries and rent can add up, and I mean, they can just kill you as an organization, especially when you're starting. You're trying to figure out whether or not this business is even going to work. You better not have a salary. You better not have rent. And, some people will go, whoa, I got to pay myself. Come on now. Like, this is where you pay yourself from as a business owner, net profits, right? Your first goal is to don't go broke. That's it, right? And you have to make sure that you're limiting these expenses, right? So for most businesses as they start, you're going to don't quit your job, right? Because if you quit your job, then that's creating more pressure on this business financially, right? So you can go, I don't need this green number to be able to pay my rent. Don't you dare count on this number to pay your rent. That's a terrible idea. Not at first. We'll get there. You have to be patient. Like, you can get out here, give it 18 months, and then see what ends up happening, okay? Now you've really kind of gotten somewhere, but it's going to take some time. Then we go into marketing, all right? This is where I would tell you need to spend more time than you think you need to spend. You need to spend time thinking about this every single day. So I have some different ways that you can market. You could do physical mailers. Again, this is kind of, you might just put an expectation for the month here. These numbers are not calculating anything. And so you're going to fill in whatever your actual expenses are, what you're projected, right? $50 a month in physical mail if you're mailing some stuff. Email marketing is, I have it in here because you actually can pay people to do email marketing. Spamming people didn't work anymore, y'all. Those days are gone. You're going to have to be more creative than that. Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Amazon ads, YouTube ads, ads. Graphic design, super important when you first start. Like there's always new tools, but there's something called, I believe it's called 99 Designs. Your logo and stuff like that, we'll do another video about logos. We'll talk about that, to where you need something that looks pretty good. Don't go crazy, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to start getting, because again, in the very beginning, you're trying to test and see whether or not this thing's actually going to work. Business cards, you don't need 14,000 business cards. There's some things online that you can research, but I think if you're face to face with clients, you need to have a business card, right? You need to have them, have your website on there. Don't have your cell phone. Why? Because they're going to call you on your cell phone. Route them through your company number, like I covered in another video. You don't want to be beholden. They can reach you 100% of the time. That's a bad idea. Letterhead, you don't need to go buy a letterhead. You can take that logo that you created, you can copy and paste it and stick it in a Word document. All right. So literally, like if I opened up a Word document right here, I could take this right here, this logo, and just paste it. Right? And so there you go. Now I have letterhead. Is it the most pretty letterhead? No, but we're not trying to, right now we're just trying to make this business work and be profitable. Marketing becomes very important, right? And so you're going to want to fill out these numbers. These are the expenses that you have. And so you're estimating like it's going to be $50, or $315 for Google ads. But when this month is over and it's $400, you come back in here and put in $400, maybe change the color to like green. So all right, well, these are actual expenses that already happened. This is exactly what they were. But everything in yellow is the stuff that you can edit. These, again, this is just to remind you, how much am I thinking that I want to budget, per month? And so that, like, if I was thinking, all right, I want to do $300 a month, we start getting out here and we're doing $500, we go, all right, that might be a good thing or a bad thing. So, where did I start? This just kind of helps you think about that. Then we go into travel and customer entertainment. That for some businesses, you're going to have to do that. So you're just going to want to put in those expenses that you're going to have in relation to travel. And again, you can always change these. If you want to change the name of these, to conference. Sure, just change it to conference. Not a big deal. IT, which is internet technology. IT expenses, internet, website. You're going to need internet. You're going to need some type of computers. Now, computers, look at here. You don't spend anything until you do, right? Then it's $2,500 and you don't spend anything. But a smart conservative person will understand your computers aren't going to last for forever. You're going to have to update something, and then you start going back here. Hire this employee. Then, all right, so $3,000 a month right here. What's the very first thing you have to do? Buy them a computer. So there's another $2,500. And so those types of things you have to think about. Website hosting. We'll talk about website hosting and stuff, and you're going to want to how you get your website set up, and that's some of the blocking and tackling, but you're going to have a financial expense, and there's going to be some other expenses. There's another category that I have that I call internal use software. This could be like Adobe. This could be your it could be Excel, Microsoft, Office products. You're probably going to need some type of internal software. Now, I know this sounds weird because this spreadsheet is in Excel, but if you can get away with it, you're going to want to probably just use Google Sheets. Like Google Sheets is really great. You can Google it, and you can use it for free. Whenever you can use a free resource, you're going to want to do that, especially as you're starting your business. You're trying to limit expenses. What you're also trying to do is not have ongoing expenses. To the extent that you can, you don't want to build in something that's going to cost you every single month. Office supplies, how much money do you need? Like this very first month, you may need, to build, you may need a little bit of some stuff, right? So that you can actually work and accomplish, start heading down this road. Accounting software, you must have accounting software, period. And you need to learn how to do this on your own. There's lots out there. There's QuickBooks, there's Zoho, there's 100,000 of them. Just go Google one, find it. And, again, if you're following the things that I would tell you to do, you have to be balancing your books every single month. Now, this spreadsheet is different than balancing your books. Coming in here, I'm talking for that, it needs to be reconciled. If you don't know how to reconcile a checking account, you need to Google it and figure it out, because this is important. This is treating your business in a professional manner. It's incredibly important, okay? Accountant, guess what? You're probably going to need somebody to do your taxes, right? Now, that becomes really important because there's lots of ways that you can save money on taxes if you own a business. I'm not giving you accounting advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. You need to look into it. It's something that you definitely need to do. Your legal and state requirements, depending upon what your business is, you're going to have certain legal and state requirements, which brings this whole thought up. In terms, big bold, do not forget this piece, okay? You need to find out if the products you're selling require sales tax. Hello? If you don't do that, then you're going to have a major problem with Uncle Sam and with your state. And state taxes are nothing to joke with. State taxes, they'll stick you on like a public registry and shame you if you owe money. I'm in South Carolina. I think they do that in other states too. Is that you got to pay those taxes, and specifically those taxes that are on products that you sell, sales taxes. And again, that's another reason that you need an accountant, because you need to understand whether or not you need to be doing that. Because you might think that you made money, you didn't make any money at all. In fact, you owe thousands and thousands of dollars to the IRS and to your state taxing authority. Legal and state requirements, you're going to need to file, for an LLC for your state. You need to understand what's going to be required in your state. Do this homework yourself, though, guys. In South Carolina, I think it's $110. Or you can pay $2,500 for somebody to go to the websites and look it up. Once you know it, you also know it. It's another arrow in your quiver. It's something you know that other people don't. Insurance, you need to have a good insurance person to find out, are you doing services and things to where you need to have general liability? You need to find someone that does something called property and casualty insurance. And so you need to know, whatever your business is, there's certain liabilities. Now, you don't need everything in the world, but you definitely need this in an LLC, limited liability company, so that if you mess something up, they can't come take your house. That's about liability. So you're going to have to do some research on your own, based upon your state, based upon your circumstance, to make sure from an accounting and legal perspective, you're legit. And then you have insurance. Don't forget about charity. You get in life by giving, not by getting. And so even if you start small, you start somewhere, right? I would strongly encourage you to do that. It's unbelievable how much more successful most people's businesses are if they do that than if they don't. Then we have banking fees and just other fees, right? So you're coming in every single month and you're filling these out. Now, when you're planning, though, in terms of this as a business planner, I'm saying, all right, well, as I'm selling more products from back over here, then, of course, my expenses are increasing for all of these. And then all of these expenses that I think for marketing, and this becomes my business plan, all right? And when it rolls up, I'm going to be able to see from a net profit standpoint how much money I'm making or not making, losing each month, and how it's adding up over time. Okay? So let me give you, and I want you to watch this number right this, the 9252. What if instead the product cost was, you decided to stock up? All right, so you were at 9252. You decided to stock up, though, and you bought $1,500 worth. You hired a person that was $3,000, and you had to get them a computer. That was $2,000, and you felt like you needed business cards, and that you spent $400 on graphic design when you could have got it done for $99. And you can see, look at where we are, right? You have to be disciplined. And why do people do a lot of this stuff? It makes me feel good to have $1,500 in inventory. Well, it makes me feel good to not have $16,000 in debt. right? And so be smart, be conservative. I'm going to back out those changes before I just totally mess this spreadsheet up. And it's going to roll out here to the summary, right? The largest cash drawdown. And so this gets us started. Again, make sure to give me some comments so I can understand like how it did, whether or not you guys are understanding the concepts here. But this becomes the place. This is where you're game playing your different business ideas. And once you understand these concepts one time, it's powerful because every business can be fit in here. It's a very simplistic spreadsheet. So looking forward to catching up with you guys again. Thanks for, I know this video is a little bit longer. Love your comments though. Please like it. If it's helpful to you, it's going to be helpful to other people. And we'll catch up again soon. Thanks so much.